Chuckles the Jester, and this is my first ever review video. Now, what I'll be reviewing is the Jumanji Collector Edition board game from Noble Collection. It's pretty much nothing but plastic, so those that were hoping for it to be made out of wood, you are sadly going to be disappointed. But it is highly detailed, completely molded plastic with the logo on the front, while on the underside is a felt cover showing that it is from Noble Collection. Now, as for the inside, the pathways are also made out of plastic, but it's all molded, even with gaps in between the spaces. Some light gaps between the spaces. And it also has the compartment where you would store the dice and the tokens. One little note: the compartments don't exactly have a whole lot of grip room with their little handles, so you might want to be careful with your nails. But there are a few things you're probably noticing. The gem is not present. I will get to that a little bit later. And these parts. In the original movie, these parts were actually the other way around. Like Jumanji, it would actually be read this way. Well, from my observation, this is actually based off of its very brief appearance at the beginning of the second film. Now, on to the accessories. We, of course, have the two six-sided dice. They are slightly rounded on the corners, but they do make a nice sound when you roll them in those compartments, as well as the 4 tokens. The Ivory Rhino, the Silver Elephant, the Obsidian Crocodile, and the Jade Monkey. Now, as for the center of the board, it is actually separate, but there is actually a reason for it. It is just simply a green plastic dome glued to a bronze-colored ring. And you just simply lay this at the center over the felt logo. But this isn't just a replica. It is actually playable, so it actually has some additional accessories to actually play the game. First off is the Jumanji die, where it may be 6-sided, but there are only 4 symbols, one of which takes up 3. I will get into those symbols later, as well as life counter cards, Jumanji cards, which is what you lay in the center when you're playing the game, and finally some tokens. Some tokens, like the jungle token, which is what represents when you are stuck in the jungle, like Alan Parrish was in the first movie. and there are 4 of them, 1 for each player, as well as double-sided hunter and spear tokens. I will get to what those are used for a little bit later, as well as 1 instruction booklet. Now, as for how this game is played, see, I have noticed that the paths are not all the same length. Well, it actually brings that up, for you see, in the instructions, once you decide the order of the players, each player, one at a time, picks their token and picks a path. It is up to you to pick which path you want to take. So the tokens are not fixed to a specific path. Now, how the game works. You first do your turn by rolling the Jumanji die, and there are 4 different outcomes for it. The first is the power up, which relates to the life cards. When you first start a game, you shuffle these and each player draws 3, representing the 3 lives that were in the second movie. And they have one of 5 different bonuses that you can play during your turn. But just note, they may also be benefits, but they also represent your life. If you have 3 lives, you do not get a turn. Now, as for these benefits, we have the adding move cards. They rank at 1 move, 1 space, 2 spaces, and 3 spaces, with a corresponding amount of 3 cards, 2 cards, and 1 card each. Next is the reroll. Card. There are only 2 of these. Then we have give an extra life to a player. There are only 2 of these. See, if you can give a life to another player, but if they have no lives to start with and they gain a brand new life, they actually have to start all the way back at the beginning. We got the add dice roll. That's what we're getting into the use for later. Those are also numbered in adding of 1, 2, and 3 in the corresponding amounts of 3, 2, and 1 cards. And finally, we have the escape trap card. We'll get into the purpose of that later. The next is the challenge symbol. Now, when you roll a challenge, you roll the 2 6-sided dice. And basically, whatever you roll, one of the other 3 players has to beat that. If they are able to, the first person to, you go clockwise from that, and the first person to beat that amount gets to steal that amount and move their token that many spaces. However, if none of the other 3 are able to beat that amount, then you actually get to move that amount that you rolled. Then the next, we have the journey symbol. This one is the simplest one. It basically just allows you to roll the 2 6-sided dice and move. But if you remember from the movie, if you roll doubles, you get another turn. Well, that does apply with this game. For if you roll doubles, you do get to do another turn. However, it starts all the way back with step 1 with rolling the Jumanji die. And finally, we have the Jumanji symbol. This is the one that actually has 3 copies of on the die. When you roll the Jumanji symbol, you draw one of the Jumanji cards from the center of the board. There are 2 primary types: danger cards and trap cards. But each of those variants also has 2 variants. The danger cards, fittingly, have the rhyming riddles on them, just like in the movie. We have the black background with green swirls and the black background with orange swirls. How these work is that the one with the green swirls, it shows you an amount at the top. And basically, you have to roll the 2 6-sided dice to try to beat that. If you see at the bottom, there's an amount of spaces. If you are able to beat this amount, you get to move forward that many spaces. If you get lower than that amount, you have to move back that number of spaces. But if you roll the same amount, you don't move. Then we have the ones with the orange swirls. These are more environmental hazards, dangers. Instead of having a number to try to beat, you have the number of spaces. However, at least one person has to move back that amount. It can be ranged from just you and someone else, all players, or the one that there's only one of, everyone but you moves back. Now, for the trap cards, there are 2 variants, and they are signified by having their colors reversed compared to the danger cards. The ones that are green are the jungle. These are basically the equivalent of Alan Paris's first riddle, "In the jungle you must wait." So of course, if you were to get this, you have to place one of these jungle tokens underneath your token, and you have to wait till someone rolls a 5 or 8. That even includes yourself. But if you roll the 2 6-sided dice. But how this works is that if you are the only one trapped and someone else rolls a 5 or 8, you remove the little token from underneath your pawn. If multiple people are trapped and someone rolls a 5 or 8, that person that rolled gets to choose who gets to go free. But if you're the one that rolls, note, if you are the one trapped, you don't roll the Jumanji die, and you just simply roll the 2 6-sided dice to try to get free. And if you are the one that is trapped and rolls 5 or 8, you just simply remove, and you're able to move on your next turn. And then we got the Hunter cards. Now, these have a similar effect to the Jungle cards in that you are trapped at where you are. Once you place it underneath your token, but there's a bit of a downside. Each one has a different amount that you have to beat. How it works is that if you roll equal to or less than the amount, you lose a life, and your turn ends. If you lose a life, you don't get to use the benefit of the life of that specific card. While if you are able to roll higher than the amount, you flip the the hunter token over into a spear token. With a spear token, you could basically use these to get out of a trap free. And without having to use up a life. And this is also where the whole escape trap life card comes in. If you play that, you are able to escape a trap. Or possibly even a danger. That I'm not completely sure on. I'm guessing it's only traps. Now, that's for those kind of mechanics. Now, as for actually winning the game, you actually have to land on the center with an exact amount. But what if you roll more than what you actually need? Well, it does have a solution for that. You bounce. Let's say if you rolled a 2 and you land on the center, you would win, but you get a 3. You move 1, 2 onto the center, but then you move back 1. Whatever amount is left over after reaching the center, that is how many spaces you move back from it. You need a 2 but get a 3, you are now 1 space away. But it is possible for no one to win. See, if everyone loses all 3 of their lives, or they're trapped in the jungle, then no one wins. Oh, and I just remembered one last thing. Another thing with the lives. You can only have a maximum of 3. If you have to draw a life card, but you already have 3, you get to choose out of those 4 to discard. But if you do that discard, though, you do not use its ability. You just simply discard it. So, a maximum of 3 life cards per player. You can even regain them if you have already lost them. But if you have none and you are given one, you have to start back from the beginning. Now, oh yeah, and it comes with a nice little pouch to help store your cards and little jungle and hunter and spear tokens. You are free to store the dice and the 3 dice and the actual animal tokens in the little compartments. It does not have any lights or sounds, however, there are some screws on the bottom, and the game is hollow, so if anyone actually wants to try to add metal rails to magnetize the pieces, or add lights and sounds to a permanently attached gem piece in the center, then there is plenty of room in the game to add such things. Now, I believe that is all that I have to really say about this game. I hope this video gets plenty of views and or likes. That will be all for now. And I'm not exactly sure if I'll do another review video.